I came from India in 1976 with my intention to pursue my career as a biomedical researcher with my PhD in biochemistry. But things changed in my life, and now I'm a tax consultant, investment advisor. So 2 weeks after I arrived in this country, land of opportunity, I was a research scientist, and my lab was on the 3rd floor of a building, and I was in Louisville, Kentucky. So I didn't know much about America. I didn't know much about American slangs, tradition, or ethnicity, or anything about here, but I was just learning. So I was in the hallway of my building in my floor, 3rd floor, and I saw on the other side of the hallway there was a gentleman who just saw me and said, "Hey man, is there any John up here?" And to me, at that point, John meant somebody's name. So I'm just thinking if I had come across somebody by the name of John on our floor. So I'm thinking, and he is getting upset at me that I'm taking so much time to let him know. So he comes closer to me. I can see he's in emergency. He's shaking, and he's telling me, "What's the matter with you, man? Is there any John up here?" And I said, "Can you tell me," I very politely asked him, "Can you tell me John who?" And he says, "John who? John, toilet, man, toilet." In these last 2 weeks, I did come across many last names as Coffee, Shoemaker, Carpenter, Snow. So I said, well, I very gracefully accepted toilet as the last name, and I'm thinking, is there anyone by the name of John Toilet on this floor in this building? And one of my lab mates overheard me, and he knew I was in big trouble. He comes, grabs me inside, and tells that gentleman, he's new here, he doesn't know what John means, go upstairs. And the guy was furious. He said, "Teach him, man, teach him. He wants to live in this country, he better know what John means." Had he had a gun with him that day, I would be giving this speech from heaven. But that was a defining moment for me. If you want to live in this country, you better know what John means. And I'm looking for that person today, that if I could tell him that I not only know what John means, but I'm a tax consultant, I also know what Uncle Sam means also. So that's my true introduction when I came to this country, not knowing anything. But it has been over 47 years that I'm here. It's my home. My boys are born here. My wife and I, we enjoy Worcester is our home. So it's been a great journey so far. And I'm so happy and proud that today I'm your speaker. So just keep in mind this guy who didn't know what John meant is speaking to us. So there could be a lot of such things that you may have to excuse me for. So what I would like to do is, when I was talking to, I think, Tanya or Jennifer from this group, I don't know if they're here, to speak a little bit about leadership, which I love to do. So I named the title of the speech as Ignite the Leadership Within You. I know this is a great organization, Massachusetts Association of Patient Account Management. Management needs leadership. Certainly, certain tips that I might give you, which might help you, at least to get inspired and motivated. So I thought I'll break down my speech into 4 segments. I'll talk to you about my past, I'll talk to you about my present, and I'll also talk to you about success that has brought to me as an entrepreneur, as a leader in this community, and then keys to the success. And that might help you to probably incorporate a few things in your life and help yourself. So those will be the pointers to talk to you. I grew up with extreme difficulties in my life. My mother passed away when I was just 3. And my father was the only one who took care of me. I lived in a small village in India. We were not very well off. We were poor. My father was a school teacher, and he took care of me. I had an elder brother and sister. They were quite older to me. My brother was about 14 years older. Sister was about 12. So apparently I was not a planned child. So I always have thought about that. What's the purpose, Mom? You came here, left me when I was 3. What's the purpose of bringing me here? But I think I found the purpose. I was burdened with poverty, but many people came to help us. My father gradually became ill and sick, and he started losing his vision. At a very young age of close to 60, he lost his vision and became blind. And we didn't have enough money to take him to a good doctor or a specialist to fix him. So he lived his life as a blind person. So I do a lot of things for people who have vision impairment or blindness these days, just to see that he sees. At least we couldn't do it for him, but we do it for others in his honor. I never thought that I'll come to USA because I didn't have any money, number one. My brother was very helpful, helping me to get all the education. So I got my PhD in biochemistry. And then suddenly I got an opportunity to come to the United States to do my postdoctoral fellowship. I got a letter that came to my mailbox, which was not mine, belonged to someone else. I opened it and saw it was someone else's letter, but by mistake it was in my mailbox. So I took it to my professor and said, this letter belongs to so-and-so. He's already in USA. This is an appointment letter for him. It's not for me. My professor said, well, why don't you apply and try to get that job? You're almost finishing your PhD, so you should go. I said, no, I can't go. I don't have money. My father is sick. I want to take care of him. And you know, in India, you can't argue much with professors. He says you do it. He says, well, we'll talk about all that, but why don't you apply and see if you get the job? So I sent my resume to Louisville, Kentucky Medical School. The professor accepted me. So I was asked to come. And I said, well, how would I go? I mean, I don't have money. I don't know how would I go there. So my professor said, go to Delhi, get your visa, and we'll see. I went to Delhi. I went to the Consul General's office. 6 of us went together to get the visa to come to the United States. It was not easy those days to get the visa. 5 of the students were ahead of me. They got rejected. I was the 6th one. I was very happy that I'm going to get rejected and I don't have to go. But I don't know what happened. He approved mine. Now I got the visa. Now I'm thinking, how would I go? My brother was helping me to get my education. I couldn't ask him to pay for my ticket. He had 3 kids to educate them. My sister-in-law, my brother, I owe them a lot. They are no more, but they have given me the best education that they could. So I went to a travel agent's office just to find out how much it costs to go to USA. I've never flown in my life. Train or bicycle was the only conveyance I had in my life. So I went to the travel agent's office, and the owner was sitting there. I said, could you tell me how much it costs to go from Delhi to New York to Louisville, Kentucky? And he said, who is going? I said, well, I am supposed to be going, but I don't think I'm going because I can't go, but I'm just curious to find out how much it costs. And he says, what are you going for? I said, well, I'm doing my PhD. I got an offer to do my postdoctoral fellowship in a medical school in Kentucky, Louisville. That's what I'm going for. Well, he said, looked at me for a few minutes, and he said, you are going. I said, I'm going? What do you mean by I'm going? He said, I'm buying your ticket. You are going. I said, but you don't know me. He said, I know you enough. You are a good student, you're doing PhD, you got a chance to go and upgrade your education. I'll buy the ticket. You decide the date and your ticket will be ready here. That's how I came to United States of America. I asked my father that, what should I do? He said, go. You can always take care of me when you come back. But you know, on that day, that travel agent not only bought ticket for me, but he instilled in me the sense of paying forward. Something that was more valuable. Something that I brought here with me. And today I try to see that if I could create a community of paying forwarders by giving my speech, by talking to them, that we have a responsibility to take care of others. From scientist, I became a tax consultant, investment advisor. I was in Louisville, Kentucky. I got a job here in Worcester, Massachusetts as a scientist in one of the companies then known as EG&G Mason Research Institute. But all of a sudden, you know, when I came here, people and my friends, they started inviting me and sort of inspiring me to get involved in investments and buying properties, buying stocks, and which was all beyond me. I didn't understand any of those. So I told my wife that I got to take some courses to really understand what they say. I started taking courses, understand the tax laws, understand the financial planning, investments. I found it very interesting. I went on taking all levels of courses. And then we had a family priest. We call him the guru. He came one day to me and he said, I want you to change your profession from scientist to financial planner and tax consultant. Just like we can't say no to the professor, we can't say no to our guru either. So overnight almost, my wife and I, we couldn't sleep that night when he told me that. I went to my president of the company and I said, no hard feelings, I have to leave. I'm going to start a tax consulting investment practice. And that's what I do now. So it has been a business of faith, business of blessings. That time I had 2 little sons. I didn't know how to, we had no clients. So I told them that, look, our guru wants me to change the profession and become a tax consultant, investment advisor. Maybe we'll not have breakfast, maybe we'll not have dinner or lunch. We'll see how it goes. Fortunately, they all had breakfast, lunch, dinner. They're all now grown up. My older one is an attorney in New York. He's the vice president of MLS, Major League Soccer, as a sports attorney. And my younger one is also in New York, and he is a professional stand-up comedian. Very well known in the country by now. So if you get a chance to see him. But they're on their own wings. They're doing well. My wife and I, Worcester is our home. We enjoy here. So there's a lot Worcester has given us, and we're now ready to give back to our community here. So I opened this tax consulting office name honoring my guru, the Guru Tax Consulting Office, Guru Tax and Financial Services. From 1990, when I opened the office, from then through now, it's been almost 33 years. Many things has happened. And something that I never thought that had happened, that I've been so successful as an entrepreneur, as a leader in the community, as a part of the community, the mainstream in Worcester. I get involved with everything. So how did all these things happen? I had, from basement, my wife and I started the business, not knowing anything about America at that time. But I went into various places to find out how the business is done. We had 0 clients. Now we have approximately 400 clients. We had 2 offices. I had another office in Burlington. I just recently closed it because I have this Joy Guru Humanitarian Services as our foundation. So I do a lot through that to the community. We have many international clients. We expertise in reporting the foreign assets into IRS. I never laid off any of my employees. I always gave them raise, and I have become the top producer of my brokerage firm, which is at Avantex Financial Services in Dallas, Texas. Several times I have been awarded as the top producer of the company. I engage I do radio programs every Monday morning. I go and talk about taxes. I've been recognized by the community and got many accolades. The mayor has given us the key to the city, just like John mentioned many. But besides that, what is most important here is that bringing the business from basement to now office in downtown Worcester, on 446 Main Street, in the glass building, the 16th floor, it just makes me feel that how all these things happened. It's just amazing to see that something that I've never thought. My father always wanted me to be an entrepreneur, always wanted me a leader, and he always said that when you grow up, try to become an entrepreneur. I never thought I will. I came here to do my biomedical research. Things changed. Now I'm an entrepreneur. I think it is important for us to be a good leader, for us to be a good entrepreneur. What is important for us to challenge ourselves. I challenge myself. I say to everybody, don't wait for anyone else to come and challenge you. Challenge yourself before anybody challenges you, that I want to achieve this. At the moment I opened my office in basement, I challenged myself that someday I should be having a good office in the city, and people should respect for what we do to us. And today, I think if you read and know about us and Google and find out about us, that's the kind of status we have received. I think we display a leadership. I talk to myself a lot. Every day when I get out of my home, I look in the mirror every day. And I look at the mirror and I say to myself, you can do it. And that inspires me so much. From the get-go of the morning, I just infuse an inspiration within myself. So I say to everybody that you want to be a good leader, challenge yourself. Don't wait, be challenged. Talk to yourself, and things will happen. My father, who was a great inspirational person in my life, always taught me that how you can become a good leader. He used to say that if you want to be a good leader, you got to be concerned about your team players. You got to be sacrificing in your mind. You got to set a goal to go somewhere and make sure when you walk towards that goal, everybody walks with you. And if you can use these 4 things, you will become a good leader. You don't want to be a boss. You want to be walking together with your employees. You want everyone, win the hearts of everyone, every team member. It is not important for you to be liked by everyone, but it is important for you to see that you are not disliked. But if you can be liked and not disliked, you really have won the game. So make sure you work with your team to be a good leader. Let me give you an example here. This is a true story. Student in our own community. So when he was young in the 4th grade, he cleared that and he was transferred to another school. So there, it was mandatory that for them to play some sports. Now this kid was not too much into the sports. He never liked to be pushed. He never liked to get sweat. He wanted to be clean. But he came to his dad and said that, I don't want to do, otherwise you got to do phys ed, physical education, which nobody likes. He said, well, I'll just play tennis. I'll just stand one side of the court and just play the ball. Nobody hits me, nothing, I'll play tennis. His dad said, well, you want to play tennis, then why don't you go take some lessons and see how it is. So his dad, admitted him to a course in YMCA to go take lessons, and he started taking lessons. He found out that he really likes tennis. He really started finding a real interest in tennis. So from 5th grade, he played tennis for his team. He made the cut. And the 6th grade in the junior varsity team, he was accepted to play there. So he was really very much into it. And one day he goes to his dad and he says, Dad, I really like it, but I want to be the captain of the team. His dad said, yeah, you can be the captain of the team. He said, but I'm not the best player. His dad said that you don't have to be the best player to be the captain of the team. There are certain elements for a leader that you should have. You should care for others, all your teammates. If they fall down, go, give them your towel, your water, whatever. Show that you have the leadership qualities. And you know what you should do? You should talk to yourself every day that I want to be the captain. And things will come. So he started playing, and he has started doing all those things. If somebody falls down, somebody broke his racket, he goes and gives his racket to, say, you can play with my racket. Somebody falls down, he goes, gives the towel, water. So it was like, all of a sudden, he became a good leadership tennis player, even though he was not the best player of the team. The end of the school session, he came home, and they used to all wear a jacket. And inside the jacket, there was something wrapped up. He comes and talks to his mom and dad and says, I got something for you. Today we had an award ceremony. So he comes like this, and he said, I have something inside. The dad said, well, why don't you unwrap it and show it to us? So he did. He unwrapped it. He got this, which says, Ustra Academy, Junior Varsity Tennis Captain, Alingon Mitra. That's my son. So I embraced him. I said, how did it happen? He said, every day I talk to myself that I want to be the captain of the team. And the team selected him, voted for him to be the captain of the team. That's leadership. You don't have to be the best, but you do have to be caring. You do have to be finding that you work with your team, you are ready to sacrifice. You set a goal that I want to be this. And when you set a goal, make sure your team understands your philosophy. You have a conviction, and you move towards that. So I think that's my son. Today he is the professional stand-up comedian in New York. Just to give you an example that how talking to yourself can make a big difference in your life. So after all these things happened in my life, success came together. My wife and I have really worked very hard, raised our 2 kids, and successful business has been launched. I have employees. I have about 26 states that I serve my clients. I have about several clients in India, in Europe, in Middle East. They all send me their tax returns and foreign assets to be declared, which is not that everybody does. So I thought maybe I should write something, write a book, so that if I'm not there, someday some people may read it and find something useful. So I named my book 5 C's. And this works for entrepreneurship. This works for leadership. I was the president of Worcester Rotary Club. And during my time, Rotary Club membership is going down. At one point, Worcester Rotary Club had about 400 plus members. They used to meet in Mechanics Hall every once a week. When I joined, the number of membership was down to 48 because people don't have time. People are always working with cell phone these days. So coming to Rotary Club every week was not the name of the game. Or people did not give the values that Rotary belonged. But when I took over, I promised, I told on my first day in the inauguration speech that this club will have 50 new members during my tenure of 1 year. Every Rotary president is just for 1 year, 52 weeks. And I'll bring 50 new members, and that's a challenge. Even if you bring 5 new members, you get a pat on your back. And I said 50. Everybody said, well, he has a hangover of becoming a president. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I brought in 82 new members in 1 year. Rotary Club from 48 becomes 130. And then I was invited all over internationally for the Rotary International meeting in Australia to speak on how did I do it. I used the same philosophy, the formula of 5 C's. What those 5 C's are: connect, communicate, create, be confident, and contribute. We all have to connect with people. I am connected with so many organizations. I'm in the Chamber of Commerce. I'm the vice chairperson there. I'm also in the Worcester State Foundation. I'm in Greater Worcester Community Foundation. I'm in Rotary Club of Boston board. There are about 8 or 10 organizations that I belong to, either as a vice chair or as the executive committee member. The Mechanics Hall, I'm the vice president. So, when I meet the people in the community, they all are elite groups, those who are in the board. And you make a good connection. And that helps you a lot. Very recently, I had a fundraising event on June 3rd for my foundation. And I didn't have much time. April 15th is the last date of finishing tax return. After that, June 3rd is the fundraising event. And I had a great group of 5 musicians come from India to present in Mechanics Hall the Indian classical music. And I didn't really have time to promote it. But in 25 days, I used the same formula. Everybody I knew, I invited them to come have breakfast with me or lunch with me. There were days when I had 2 breakfasts, 2 lunch, because I wanted to meet people, because it's the personal connection that makes the difference. And we raised $500,000, more than $500,000 in this working for only 25 days. So connecting is one of the most important things. You are in the patient account management business, and it's a leadership role. And I think what you do is when you connect personally, it makes a huge impact. My father used to tell me that you want to go to the other side of the river, you got to swim. The other side of the river is not going to come to you. You got to swim. You want to go on the peak of the mountain, you got to climb. The peak of the mountain is not going to come down to you. The personal connection is so powerful. So I think every one of us should do that. And then communicate. Communication with on time, proper time is so important. If I don't get back as a leader to whoever had called me within a reasonable time, you might lose them. As a business owner, if I don't get back to my client, market has gone down and they call me and I don't respond back on time, I may lose them. Just like a doctor, if he doesn't call me back on time, I don't feel good about it. So communicating on time is so very important that each one of us should do. Respond within a reasonable time, communication. In my office, I have 25 rules. And I say that anytime anybody calls or faxes or sends any package, before they call to find out that, have you received it, my secretary should call and say, we got it. He will call you if there is a question. Be creative. You got to have something that others are not doing. When I started this business, I started going to many accountants' office to see how they perform, how they do their business. But what I wanted to find out is not what they are doing, but I wanted to find out what they are not doing that I wanted to incorporate in my business. And I wanted to be a little bit creative, do something that others don't do. Like in my office, if you come, get your taxes done, and we prepare a very custom-made package. We weigh them, we put the stamps. But when you come to me, I take your interview, I try to find out what kind of hobby you have. Maybe you love dogs, maybe you love garden, maybe you love flowers, maybe you are patriotic. I go to the post office and buy stamps matching with your hobby. And I put those stamps on those envelopes. And when I give it to the clients, they say, oh, I love golf. You have golf stamps on them? I knew that. Because when I talked to them, I found out what they're good at, what they're interested in. And I matched the stamps with their nature, with their hobby. So I think you've got to be creative. And that takes a long way. He goes and sits with his other friends in the table and says, you know, my accountant, he not only gave me stamps, but he also gave me a stamp that I loved. But it advertises your business in a very small way. So, do things that others have not done. In my office, you come as a client. Of course, everybody asks, do you want a cup of coffee or some soda or anything? That's cliche. Everybody does that. But when you leave my office, my secretary will invariably ask you, would you like something for the road? That nobody asks. Do you want a cup of coffee for the road? Now, if you couldn't come and call that I'm sick, I could not make it today, I will change my appointment, my secretary will call next day and say, how are you doing? He just wants to know, are you feeling better? Now, not everybody does that. So do things that others don't do. That differentiates you in your business, in whatever you do. You got to be confident. Whatever we do, we got to be confident. Learn everything in the best way so that people will know that this guy is the guy that I want to go. This person is the right person. I say to everybody that if you come to my office and after you have consultation with me, 3 things should go through your mind when you leave my office. I say you go to your car, and if these 3 things don't go through your mind, come back and say that nothing happened, I'll return your check. And those 3 things are, why didn't I see him before? Number 2, I'm glad I saw him now. And number 3, he knows what's he talking about. And people have come back from parking garage to my office saying that I want to let you know that I'm making an appointment for my mother because you are the right person that I think she should see. So you got to be confident. And there is nothing wrong in bragging about what you know. You don't have to say anything lie. Say what you know. But if you don't tell them that I do this, then they will never know and they'll go to someone else. So it is important for us to be confident and to be able to say. And confidence comes when you when you learn all the bells and whistles. The best part of my life is contribute. We have created a foundation, Joy Guru Humanitarian Services, my wife and I. It's an IRS-approved charitable 501c3 public charity. And we put our own money into this because I believe that, you only need so much to live in your life. But many of us make more than what we need to live. Now, what you need to live is your choice. I'm not saying that be frugal, live your life. But if you have anything extra, then I think God has given you that ability to hold that extra because Almighty thinks you have the wisdom to put it in the right place. You only need so much. You decide how much you need. You have any extra, then make sure you put it in the place where it is needed. There's so many people today who don't have clothes over their back. There's so many people today who don't have roof over their head. So many people today who don't have food on their plate. We're fortunate. We live in America. We're very fortunate. I visited Haiti. Once I went to do some voluntary service. And I came home, I told my wife that I don't know what we complain about. You go see the level of poverty that country lives with, you come back and think, I have a responsibility. Every one of us, no matter what profession we are in, attorneys, doctors, artists, singers, no matter who, if you are making more than what you need, I think you got to think, where should this money go? You know, in our community, a poet had once written that make your children be able. You don't have to leave wealth for them. If they're able, they'll make their own. But if they are spoiled brat, they'll ruin your money. So in neither way, you need to leave it here for them. Make them be able and make them be proud of themselves having made their own life. I came to this country with $6 in my pocket. And I had a change of plane in Paris. So when I was waiting in the airport, I went to get a cup of coffee in Paris airport. There, it cost me $4 at that time, 1976. I have decided I'll never drink coffee in Paris. I'll rather have in Dunkin' Donuts here. I tell you, I landed here with $2. And today I have a little more than 2. So I've done all right. I've seen market go up and down various ways. But I think I make more than what I need. So we created this foundation. And we try to help people, whoever I think needs the genuine help. You are supposed to bring the leadership out of someone else. You want to make them feel that you have a responsibility to become a paying forwarder. I was in South Africa the other day as a financial planners delegate. About 12 of us went to exchange our thoughts and ideas with the financial planners in South Africa. And then after the trip was over, after the official business was over, my wife and I, we took the safari trip to go see the animals in the jungle. And there was a guy who used to take us every day in the safari, the vehicle, the Jeep, and we'll go there. My wife had some knee issues, so she used to sit next to the driver. And they are also called rangers. They're sharpshooters. So they will go and my wife will talk to this guy every day and found out suddenly that she had a great passion to start his own business, buy his own vehicle, and tell the people, those who visit in their country, that don't torture animals. Because there are people come who take the horns away, poach them. And he wants to say that, honor them, see them, how beautiful they are in the jungle playing on their own. They have the freedom. He wanted to promote that. But he wanted to do that with his own vehicle. So my wife told me that, this guy seems like he wants to really start his own, but he doesn't have money, he says. Can you talk to him and see if we can help? So I talked to him next day. And he said, yeah, I really want to do that, but I don't have a vehicle of my own. I want to start this. I said, how much it costs to buy a vehicle? He says, it cost me 100,000 rands, the currency there, which is equivalent to about $6,000. So I said, if you are serious, I don't want you to see that if I give you the money that you will use it, abuse the money, but are you serious? He said, yeah, that'll change my life. What are you talking about? You will give me that money? I said, well, if I see that you really genuinely want to do so. We came back to Worcester. We got his bank information, everything. We transferred $6,000. He bought a new vehicle, and now he has started his own business. And he sends me every day. He says, I can't believe that you did that to me. And I said, look, I did not do this for you. To fulfill your passion is one thing, but I want to see that someday, tomorrow, you do the same thing to someone else. So I am in the business of creating a community of paying forwarders, because that's what happened to me in my life. America was never in my radar. I would never come here. I didn't have any penny to pay to the airfare to come here. But I'm here today because of the travel agent. He said, my travel agent had said that I'm not doing any mercy or any favor to you. When you start making money, my brother-in-law lives in New Jersey, write him the check of the airfare and pay him. And I did that. And I still have the copy of that check I paid. So ladies and gentlemen, my good friends, I think we have a responsibility to contribute to our own community. I mean, it's one thing that life is short. Somebody has said that, an Indian philosopher and a spiritual leader had said that this life is transient. So we don't know when we are here, when we are not there. But they alone live who live for others. So we want to try to live for others as well. There are people who are looking for hope. There are people who are looking for help, looking for a better life, looking for some smile. I think you and I, if we have the ability, those of us who are doing a little better than that what we need, we have a responsibility to lift them up. It's not always important to run the race and win and hold that medal or the award. If you see somebody fail down on the way, one of your friends has fallen down, and stop, lift him up, and give him the shoulder to take him to the finish line, you get the most applause, even though you may not hold the trophy. And that's what we all should do. Look for people as you walk through your journey of life, that is there someone that I can help? I can bring the leadership out of him to make him something that he wants to be in his life. I think that's what we are after. We contribute. So we have opened this humanitarian service foundation so we can do that. Sometime back, my secretary came to my office and said that Dr. Mitra, they all call me Dr. Mitra because I started my life as a scientist. So that, and one of my co-workers who works with me was my lab technician. So she is now a tax consultant also. So that's how they call me Dr. Mitra. So she came to my office, gave me a package saying that one of our clients, Gary, came and gave this package. I said, what is in it? So I opened it. And I saw Gary had given this. Gary was a veteran. He worked for United States Army, Air Force. And when he finished his term, he got this Good Conduct Medal for his service. And he came to my office, and he is my client, and I have a different respect for all our veterans. I wear this flag every day, paying respect to them. And he came to me and he gave this to me. He said, I don't think anybody deserves more this Good Conduct Medal than you in the community. I said, Gary, this is yours. This should go to your family. He wrote a nice note, and this whole thing was done by him. I called him up after I opened it. I cried. He said, no, you got to keep it. I told my son he's not going to get it. And you know, I have many accolades, many trophies, many plaques hanging in my walls, but this one stays right in my office. This is special. This is his own personal medal he gave to me. We all need to create stories in our life. So someday we can sit down with our grandkids and tell them. If our grandkids ask us some question, that, Grandpa, I saw that at your time this was the problem in Ukraine. What did you do? And you hide under the table or have him sit on your lap and say, I did this. Inspire them. Make them feel for the community. And that's our responsibility. No matter what profession we are in, patient management, accounting, lawyer, we all have a responsibility towards our own folks and community people who are not doing so well. Those are the 5 C's which has helped me to build my business, to be a good leader in the community. This is one of the schools that we pay a lot. These are the daughters of a village in India where parents sell them because they cannot manage to keep them. So they sell them, and the culprits who buy them, they take out their eyes, they make them, go through the abusing and have them stand as a beggar. So we've created a school there where now they go and study, educate, and understand what freedom of life means. So we told the parents, don't sell them anymore. I want all of us to dream, because dream is the precursor of reality. Just like these 4 are many out there. JFK had a dream to land a man on the moon. He did it. Mahatma Gandhi in India had a dream to bring freedom without any violence. He did it. Nelson Mandela, when I went to South Africa, I really went and visited his home. The person who was in jail for prison for 27 years came back and became the president of the country. That's the kind of leader that we need to follow. Then we have MLK. I have a dream. I think every one of us should have a dream. If we don't have a dream, we don't have a place to go. So have a dream and dream high, because it doesn't cost anything. Dream high. When you dream, you find the way to get there. So I say, be a dreamer. Dream is the precursor of reality. Leaders balance the world. I think there is a lot of imbalance in our world. Every one of us should try hard so that there is a little balance, that we can all bring it. The leaders are the influencer. We should influence people. We are the motivator. We should move people. We are the inspirer. We should ignite people. You are the difference maker. We should difference make, and we are the leaders to lead. I think those are some of the things that we should do. But no matter what, I come here and I try to talk to you and give you an inspirational speech and try to motivate you. But at the end of the day, I think it's you. Each one of us. YOU. I think it stands in my book for something. Your own usher. Your own ultimate. It's you. I can speak for 2 hours, but if you don't apply it, what you got today, maybe few things, it's you. Be your own ultimate. Be your own usher. We're in America, the country which brings us success. I'm a living example of American story. I never knew that I would be what I am today. And I love to help this country, this community, and beyond this. We went to Kenya. We had 2,000 people come to our eye camp where we served them with glasses. 65 people were blind. They were given the surgery to get their visions back. And I think my father is watching and at least becoming happy. So we all have a responsibility. Anytime, not only here, but everywhere. But we're in America. No matter what happens, the best country in the world. And we have the fortune of being here. So use that privilege that we have. I think we all can do it. If I can do it, coming from a different country, different ethnicity, different profession, different language, learning what America is all about, not knowing what John meant, if I could do it, you all can do it. I was once visiting the Presidential Library of Ronald Reagan. And this is something that sits on his desk in Oval Office. When he retired, in his Oval Office, he had a replica of it in his library. And this was sitting there. Not this one, but equivalent plaque. So I asked the security guard, what does the plaque say? I couldn't read it. And he went and he saw it, and it says, "It can be done." That's an American slogan. Nothing in this country cannot be done. It can be done. So I liked it so much, I went to the gift shop. I ended up buying the plaque, and it sits in my office now. And I remember Ronald Reagan was one of my most favorite presidents, and I know that it can be done is an American slogan. So I think I'll end with one story. I'd like you all to think of a maternity department. In the maternity department, we see all newborn babies are born. And all those newborn babies, when they're born, if you know that their fingers are clenched, most of them. I had a slide here, I can't see it. But fingers are clenched like this. I took a picture of a baby like this. And I have a theory. I think when we come to this world, we're sent with two packages. We're holding them. We're holding them in our two fists. And when we die, our palms are open. I have not seen any person dead and have their fingers clenched like this. We're all open like this. So I think we have two packages that we carry. Almighty sends us with two packages. We have a responsibility to deliver them. The first package, I think, is the package towards ourselves and our family. Responsibility towards ourselves and our family. But the second package is for someone else. It could be one individual. It could be your neighborhood. It could be your town. It could be your commonwealth. It could be your country. It could be the whole world. But you do have another package of responsibility. Now, when we die, we go like this. So either you have neglected that package, or you have thrown away that package, or you have forgotten about it, or you have delivered both packages. I think you will complete the purpose of being here if you deliver both packages. So I suggest to all of you, think about it. and make sure that your packages are delivered at the right places. I hope it helped. God bless you all. Thank you so much. That's huge. Thank you. I get all this standing ovation every time I speak. My wife, who has been the real supporter and backbone of my life, without her, I couldn't do all this. I go home, she opens the door at the end of the day, and I say, honey, all this that I got today is for you. And that's how the life has been. Thank you so much. I hope it fulfilled what you wanted from me. Hopefully it inspired you all. Thank you so much.